What's going on, everybody? Stars 10P Aviation here, and boy, it's been a while, but I am back with another giant Seattle North International Airport update, and so much is new. Not only has the airport been repainted, and I've added about half of the markings, I'd say, for the gates and a few of the taxiway markings, but not only that, but there's also many new models. I can't even count how many new models there are in this airport that you guys haven't seen yet on the channel. It's a fully new layout, and there's also a lot of very interesting other things that I have added to the display, because this is the first time I've done an update on this layout. And also, I haven't made a video in a couple months, so I'm glad to be back. So let's get straight into today's update. And, let's start over at the Concourse A. Concourse A here at the airport is where Delta, Alaska, and American reside. And there's also the Concourse A satellite, which hosts a lot of low-cost traffic, and the other Concourse A satellite that hosts a bunch of regional jets. Now, for the time, it's split between Alaska and Delta, but in the future, I would like to have the two airlines have their own private concourses and not be mixed. So we'll see what happens as I get more Alaska and Delta, but all right, straight into the gates here. Let's start here at the regional satellite. Here we have this Alaska Airlines Embraer 175 operated by SkyWest, heading out on the flight to Billings, Montana, after a previous arrival also in Montana, Helena, Montana. Moving on, we have another Alaska Embraer 175, this time operated by Horizon Air in the Horizon Air Retro House color scheme. This aircraft previously arrived in on a flight from lovely Monterey, California, and will be heading out to Idaho Falls shortly. I don't know if this is a new model for Seattle North's airport updates, but here we have the American Eagle Embraer 175, coming in today on the quick hop in from Phoenix, which operates quite a lot. Only about a 2.5 hour flight, and American operates not just mainline on it, they also operate regionals, and it will be heading back out to Phoenix in a few hours. Immediately next door, had to change the camera angle here, we have the American Eagle CRJ-200. This aircraft is one of a few American has here that are actually based at the airport, operating a tiny little regional network around the Pacific Northwest. And here we have the CRJ-200 operated by SkyWest, even though it technically would be Air Wisconsin, this model, but we're going to say SkyWest, and it is coming in today on the flight from Medford, Oregon. Here we have Southwest Airlines with Maryland 1. This aircraft previously came in on the flight in from Denver, and we'll be heading out this time to, let's say, it's going to be heading down to Long Beach, California. Right next door here we have New Mexico 1. This aircraft is coming in today from Las Vegas, and we'll be heading out this time to Oakland. Now, the last aircraft at the two satellites for Concourse A, we have Allegiant Airlines. Now, Allegiant Airlines may be small right now, but they do have plans on growing when the low-cost terminal grows, which I do have plans of making a larger low-cost section. And Allegiant Airlines is going to be starting some new routes up when that happens. So this aircraft previously came in from Phoenix Mesa, Allegiant Airlines A320 with the Sharklets, and it'll be heading back out to Phoenix Mesa in around 45 minutes. Moving on to Alaska's fairly, well, not super small hub, but it will be growing when they have more gate space available to them. But here we have the Alaska Airlines 737-900 in the UNCF livery. This aircraft is currently on the flight in from Kona in Hawaii, and we'll be actually departing out in a couple hours down to Boise, Idaho, which is a pretty popular short haul flight that Alaska operates a lot of mainline on. Another new model to airport updates, I think the Southwests were also new, but here we have the Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9. This aircraft currently just arrived in on the long flight from Washington Dulles International Airport, and will be heading out this time on a little bit of a shorter flight down to Los Angeles, California. another UNCF 737-900 for Alaska. This time this aircraft previously came in on the flight from Phoenix and will be heading this time out to Las Vegas, Nevada. So a lot of flights between those cities, of course high demand routes. After coming in on a flight today from lovely Portland, Oregon, this Alaska MAX 8 is going to be heading out on the flight to, let's say, it's heading out to Denver, Colorado. Moving on to American Airlines, we have the Airbus A320. This aircraft is going to be heading out on the hop down to Los Angeles after a previous flight in from also Los Angeles. And here we have an American Airlines A321 in the PSA Heritage livery. This aircraft is on the round trip in from Charlotte, North Carolina. First wide body of the update here, we have the Hawaiian Airlines Airbus A330-200. This aircraft is coming in on the round trip from Honolulu and will be heading, of course, back out to Honolulu in around 25 minutes when the bags are finished loading on. Next door here we have the Delta Airlines Airbus A330-300. This aircraft previously arrived in from Amsterdam Schiphol and will be heading out this time to Paris Charles de Gaulle. And next door we have the 767-400 in Delta, by Delta, and they will be operating the flight out to also Honolulu after a previous round in from, let's say, this aircraft came in from Mexico City. Now, next door here we have the Delta Airlines Boeing 757-200 with winglets. This aircraft previously arrived in from Atlanta and will be heading back out there in around an hour and a half once passengers are off the plane and some new passengers are put on there. Here we have a Delta 737-800. This aircraft is coming in today on the flight in from Salt Lake City in Utah and will be heading out this time on the flight to San Francisco, California. Next door we have the Delta Airlines Airbus A220-100. This aircraft just arrived in a few minutes ago on the flight from Redmond, Oregon, and will be departing out on the flight to Spokane, Washington shortly. And the last two aircraft here for Concourse A, we have the Delta Airlines Airbus A320-200. This aircraft previously arrived in on the flight from Minneapolis, St. Paul, and will be heading out this time on a service down to Dallas, Texas. Moving on here to a little regional section for Delta, we have the CRJ-900. This aircraft previously arrived in on the flight from, let's say, came in from Boise, Idaho, and will be heading out on the service up to Calgary in Canada. Before we cover Concourse B, I decided I will cover all the aircraft that are taxiing or on the runway. Starting off here, we have another brand new model. I got this yesterday. We have the Delta Airlines Bombardier CRJ-700. This aircraft previously arrived in on the flight today from Eugene, Oregon, and will be heading out on the service down to Pasco Tri-Cities Airport in Washington. Taxiing over towards the runway, we have this United Airlines Boeing 777-200 in the Star Alliance Special livery. This aircraft is currently making the flight out to Athens, Greece, after a previous arrival in from Rome. Holding short here and about to enter the runway when the aircraft that we're about to see exits it, we have the Icelandair Boeing 737 MAX 8. Icelandair now operates Reykjavik, Keflavik International Airport on a 2 times daily basis, so with one rotation on the 737 and one rotation on what we will see in a minute, the 757. And this aircraft is now on the outbound sector to Keflavik. And just landing in here, we have the Zip Air Boeing 787-8. I don't know if this has been featured in the airport update yet, but here it is, landing in from the Tokyo Narita service. This aircraft will be heading back out to Tokyo Narita shortly, once, of course, it deboards all the passengers and gets all of its services done on it. Parked up right here, we have the Air Canada Airbus A320-200 here at the B gates. This aircraft is on the round trip in from Toronto in Canada. Now, before I get to the next aircraft, I'd like to quickly tell you all to maybe like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I haven't made videos in a while, so getting back on the algorithm would be really helpful for me for making any future content that I'll be definitely making. Lots of new videos in the future. And also, I made a Seattle North Airport Instagram page, if any of you guys are interested. It kind of just is doing what the airport updates do, but in a more detailed level, and you get to show off some nice photos of the airport. So definitely give that a look if you are interested in that. Now, enough of your time wasted, let's get on to the next aircraft. New airline in Seattle North here. We have the Lufthansa Airlines Boeing 787-9. Lufthansa just started a service over to Munich a few weeks ago, and this aircraft is heading out to Munich after a previous arrival from there. Lufthansa also serves Frankfurt. Here we have another usual suspect at this airport. Here we have the All Nippon Airlines, or ANA, 777-200. This aircraft just arrived in from Tokyo Haneda and is going to be refueling right now for the flight back out there. ANA also operates flights to Sapporo, Osaka, and Tokyo Narita. Moving on here, we have United Airlines on the 777-300ER. This aircraft, jet bridge is broken. This aircraft is on the flight out to London Heathrow after a previous arrival in from Tokyo Narita. A lot of flights to Tokyo and to London from Seattle North, and United definitely is a big player at this airport because they actually have a full concourse to themselves, unlike Delta and Alaska. Pushing back here, we have another big service here with Air China on the A350-900. Definitely one of Seattle North's older international services from the very early airport update days. This aircraft is pushing back for the flight to Beijing after a previous arrival from Beijing, capital international airport. Probably one of the coolest new aircraft, well, we're about to see another cool one, but the Alaska Airlines Boeing 787-9. This aircraft is currently on the flight out to Rome, Italy, after a previous arrival in from Tokyo Narita. Alaska Airlines operates now wide bodies from Seattle North, which is brand new. Just got this model a little bit ago, and I'm really excited to have it on the airport. Alaska Airlines also operates flights to Athens, or will soon be flying to Athens, Paris, Seoul, and potentially in the future, rumored to be Sydney. So I cannot wait to see how Alaska progresses with wide bodies at the airport. Another really cool aircraft here. We have the Icelandair 757-200 with winglets in the Hekla Aurora livery. What a beautiful livery this is. And this aircraft is, of course, on the round trip to Reykjavik, Keflavik, or Reykjavik, depending on how you pronounce it, International Airport, which is now, of course, 2 daily. The 757, soon to be retired from Icelandair's fleet, but I will never stop using it on Seattle North displays because it is a gorgeous plane. Soon, of course, the A321neos will be flying in here as well, but it's just great to see Icelandair on the 757. Moving on here, we have an aircraft that's currently idle at the gate. It previously arrived in the JetBlue A320, of course, in the barcode livery. Previously arrived in from Boston, and we'll be heading out back to Boston in a couple hours. It's currently kind of just parked here right now, as the flights are a bit spaced out and they don't really need to use these gates here. So JetBlue, of course, is using them. And here we have the JetBlue Airbus A321neo. This aircraft previously arrived in on the service from lovely New York JFK, and we'll be heading out on the flight to New York JFK shortly. Here we have a pretty rare aircraft here at the airport. That's right, the Unicon livery, or the merger livery of United, when United merged with Continental. We have the Boeing 737-800 with these split scimitars, soon to probably be painted into the EVO Blue livery. This aircraft just arrived in on the service from Redmond, Oregon, and will be heading out on a flight to Denver, Colorado in a little bit here. Now, United uses these 737s on a variety of routes. Regional, they use them on long haul, not long haul, but like international and decently medium haul domestic services. So You'll be seeing planes like this on all sorts of routes. Here we have the United Airlines Boeing 737-700. This aircraft previously arrived in on the service from Reno, Nevada, and will be heading out this time on a flight up to, let's say, this aircraft is also heading to Calgary in Alberta in Canada, just like I think it was one of the Delta aircraft. Parked next door here in the, of course, we're now in Concourse C, so the mostly United gates here. We have the 787-8. This aircraft previously arrived in on the service in from Papeete in French Polynesia, and will be heading out on the service up to Sapporo in Japan. Moving on to the C Concourse regional gates here, we have this United Express Embraer 175. Another new model, of course, for this airport, just like that Unicon 737 that we saw. This aircraft just arrived in from a service to lovely Jackson, Wyoming, or Jackson Hole, and will be heading out this time on a service to Redding, California. Here we have this time a United CRJ-550. This aircraft previously arrived in on a service from Yakima, Washington, and will be heading out on the flight to Medford, Oregon. Lots of regional traffic on that route indeed. Coming in today, this time from another regional route from Eugene, Oregon, this aircraft will be later heading out to lovely, hard to come up with routes for this, let's say it's heading out to Pullman, Idaho. The CRJ previously arrived in on the flight from North Bend Regional Airport or Coos Bay Airport in Oregon, and will be now heading out on the service to Idaho Falls. Here we have the United Airlines Boeing 767-300. This aircraft previously arrived in on a service from Newark in New Jersey, another major United hub, and will be heading out this time on the service all the way over to Washington Dulles International Airport over in DC, which is another big United hub that will be getting a lot of these wide-body flights domestically. An increasingly common sighting here, we have the Airbus A321neo from United. This aircraft just arrived in from Denver and will be heading out on the lovely service down to San Francisco. After a flight in from Albuquerque, New Mexico, this United 737 MAX 8 is going to be heading out on a flight all the way over to Omaha in Nebraska. And concluding this concourse, well, not including the satellite regional gates, here we have the new model, of course, 757-300, one I've been looking for a long time. This aircraft previously arrived in from Chicago O'Hare and will be heading actually back out to Chicago O'Hare very shortly. Here we have a CRJ-550. This aircraft arrived in recently from Walla Walla, Washington, and will be heading out this time to Vancouver in BC. A very, very short flight that is only really served on regional jets. Here we have a United Express CRJ-200 wearing the SkyWest house livery. This aircraft is pushing back for the flight out to Eureka in California after a previous flight in from, let's say, came in today from Yakima, Washington. This CRJ-550 previously arrived in on the service in from lovely Helena, Montana. Another flight, a lot of duplicate regional flights because Alaska, Delta, and United have fairly similar regional networks here. And it will be heading out this time on the service down to Portland, Oregon, which is usually served on mainline, but does see a lot of regional flights as well. Here we have another United aircraft operated by Air Wisconsin in the Air Wisconsin house livery. Rest in peace, Air Wisconsin operating for airlines. But the CRJ-200 is going to be making the flight out to Elko, Nevada, after a previous round in from St. George, Utah. And here we have an interesting one. We have the Essential Air Service operator here, Contour. This aircraft arrived in on the Essential Air Service flight to Klamath Falls in Oregon after a previous Essential Air Service flight arrived in from, what's the city named? Pendleton, Oregon. And that concludes all the regular passenger services, but we still have cargo and the general aviation field to check out in a minute, which is also a brand new addition. So let's take a quick look at that. Here we have 4 cargo aircraft. Oh my gosh. We have the Boeing 777-200 freighter by DHL. This aircraft is going to be making the flight out to Anchorage, Alaska after a previous round in from Tokyo Narita. Cargo flights to Anchorage are very, very common. It's a huge cargo hub, and that is where DHL is flying. Onward here, we have 3 Cessna Caravans. The first arrived in from Redmond and will be heading out to Yakima. The second arrived in from Walla Walla and will be heading out to Spokane, all in Washington and Oregon, by the way. And the third arrived in on a bit of a longer flight in from Eureka in California and will be heading out this time on the cargo flight to Pendleton, Oregon. Just arrived in here, we have the FedEx Express 777-200. This aircraft previously arrived in from Memphis, Tennessee, and will be now heading out this time on the service down to California into the big city of Los Angeles, but not into the normal Los Angeles. It's heading out to SNA or John Wayne Airport in Anaheim. Holy crap, that's a lot of planes, but we are almost done, everybody. Here we have the UPS Boeing 757-200 pushing back out for the flight to Louisville after a previous arrival from there. Taxiing by, I see what I assume to be a Beechcraft. It might be a Piper. Light aircraft heading out on a quick flight over to Astoria in Oregon. Also taxiing here, what I believe is a Cirrus SR-22, I think. This aircraft is currently on the flight out to, well, it's actually just a local flight around the area. It doesn't have a destination labeled here. And this aircraft is, on a local flight. All of these aircraft are parked and will likely be doing local flights in the area at a later date. And here we have another, what I think is a Beechcraft. Maybe it's a Piper. I don't exactly know. But these 2 aircraft are both going to be on services that are actually logged. One to the lovely city of Spokane, Washington, and the other is heading on a much more quicker flight up to Bellingham. Moving along here, we have JSX, which is a scheduled operator flying the all business class Embraers. This aircraft is currently on the flight in from Scottsdale, Arizona, and will be heading back out to Scottsdale. And finally, the last couple aircraft here, we have 2 Citation business jets. One arrived in today from lovely, let's say, Kansas City in Missouri. And the one here on the right previously arrived in, previously arrived in from, let's say, Portland, and will be now heading out to San Francisco. And finally, the last aircraft of today's pretty long update, we have a parked World Atlantic McDonnell Douglas MD-82. This aircraft has no future flight plan, but previously made a flight in from Tampa. And wow, that was a lot. My mouth is dry and hurts from all this talking. That is Seattle North International Airport, the first update I've made for it in quite a few months. Lots is new and lots is planned. I'll show you what's planned. So I'm gonna actually finish markings that look like this with the outlines on all the markings that are already done. I'm gonna add markings over to the A gates and over to the satellites over there. I want to grow this board here to add a Alaska terminal and maybe a low-cost terminal as well. And of course, expand our cargo field because it's pretty pitiful for cargo. And at the moment right now, that might take a while till the next update, probably in September. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I did. And have a great rest of your day. Starston P signing off.